O.H. Skinner, Executive Director, Alliance for Consumers, about the state taking action to stop woke lawfare. Hi, how are you, O.H.?
I'm good, Fawn. How are you? It's always nice to talk to you from Real America.
I know. Real America is where we don't buy into the stupid crap. Some of them do. We have a few people who live here who get all butthurt when I talk about stuff like this, but they are the minority, which is what they tell us in other areas. So there's that. All right, so we're pushing back against trial lawyers and activists who are just trying to go into the court systems. I don't know what it might be, but they have all their different social reasons or climate reasons that they want to stand on. And tell me, OH, why it is that the judges now think they are the president of the United States.
Well, see, this is it. The left has been losing at the ballot box. You know that. Your state is a perfect example. I've got a lot of friends who live where you live. Mm-hmm. You know, they're losing at the ballot box. They don't see a path to win. And so just like what they're doing with President Trump, they've figured out that their best hope is you go to court with some activists, some left-wing crazies, some trial lawyers, you mix them together, and you bring a lawsuit, and you have a much higher chance, if you're a lefty, of getting what you want or stopping what conservatives want if you can go to court, because that is a way easier path now for them than imagining winning at the ballot box in Missouri or at the ballot box in most of real America. And so the lesson they've learned in these first year of the Trump administration is we can win in court. And so their only pony to ride now is to go after all of the things that we care about in the courtroom. And if we don't wake up, we're going to end up losing access to all of our things that we care about in life, because even though we keep winning at the ballot box, they keep winning in court.
Yeah, they may have picked up a couple seats in the midterms, and they can't shut up about it. They keep saying it's a blue wave. I'm like, you realize hardly anybody votes in special elections, but whatever, or in midterms, or in special elections. But
you see, I think so. I think that's a great example.
Yeah,
they win a race here, they win a race there, and they champion it because net, that's good for them. But it doesn't change any of the state houses. Mm-hmm. It doesn't change any of the statewide offices, right? You win a state Senate district here, you win one congressional district there. That doesn't give them power over your life, right? So that's the best they're hoping for right now.
Yeah, well, and that's all they're getting. So when it comes down to obvious things like ICE deporting criminal illegal aliens, this is a fight they're not going to win, because even a Biden-appointed judge in Minnesota said, come on, guys, you know, ICE has a right to be here, and they have a right to deport people who are here illegally. It's fine. There's an actual song about it right now. Some guy came out with a song. But we have to remember that there are laws of the land, and whether the judge like it or not, they took an oath to follow the Constitution and the laws of the land. Whatever precedent might have been set, and they can claim gives them the ability to change things for an entire state or jurisdiction or whatever the case may be, they're wrong, because the people have a constitution to follow, and if they want something changed, they have to take it to the ballot box. They can't just do it in court.
Yes, and I think one of the most important things for people to realize is that net, the president often has the rule of law on his side at the federal level, but we have to be careful because, you know, I always use public nuisance. You and I have talked about it. The left likes to name things as a nuisance and then try to take away whatever products are downstream of that. So they'll say that gun violence is a public nuisance and they want to sue to get all your guns taken away. Not because you're going to confiscate them, but they're just going to make all the manufacturers shut down, all the ammunition manufacturers shut down. They'll say that cars are a public nuisance. They'll say that plastic straws and bottles are a public nuisance. So we have to, you know, and we have to recognize that they're taking these old causes of action that were meant to solve, you know, your neighbor dumping something on a road in front of your house, and they're trying to turn them into social engineering weapons. Mm-hmm. And so we need in the states to trim back on what they're doing, because we need to make sure that the law of the land, to your point, is the correct law of the land, and make sure that they can't change society around you, right? Similarly, we're seeing them bring all these lawsuits to try to profit off of the Soros people. They'll decriminalize, they'll defund the police, and then they'll sue homeowners, business owners, and anybody else when a criminal trips on their property, when somebody tries to steal a package, when somebody breaks into your store and tries to rob you and they get hurt, or you dare try to stop them. Right. And so we need to make it so that in the states, we basically bulletproof ourselves against that woke lawfare, because it's trial lawyers, local governments, and activists trying to take away your guns, your cars, your straws, your plastic bottles, and take money out of your local community and feed it into their political machine so that they can go and do more in Congress, so they can push back against the president. So you're right that the president often has the law of the land behind him. And the thing that we're excited about is more states needing to bulletproof themselves before the activists and the judges and everybody gets together and it's too late, right?
Right. I wasn't paying attention until they told me I couldn't get a plastic bag at Walmart. I was like, what am I supposed to use in my garbage can in the bathroom then? What am I supposed to use? I'm like, I'm recycling every single one of them.
And look, let's use Walmart as a good example, right? You think Walmart's walking around thinking, I'm really going to dictate to Fawn what kind of plastic she gets to use. No, that's some local government, or that's some trial lawyer lawsuit, or that's somebody who brought a public nuisance lawsuit. That's the left imposing their will and changing what you can do at the store, right? Don't tell me that Walmart's sitting around thinking, how can we mess with Fawn's life, right? They're just trying to sell you stuff and employ people, right? The same thing applies to little businesses everywhere who are stuck, like, enforcing all of these crazy things, right? So we need to set the ground rules so that the activists and the lefties, are stuck just fighting against the Trump administration on good ground for us. But we can't let them get access to our states, right? We can't let them change your state while you keep winning at the ballot box, because at the end of the day, that's going to just absolutely ruin people's lives.
Here's the beauty of everything we're talking about, OH. If they want to use plastic straws, they can do it. But if you on the left don't want to use plastic straws, you believe paper are better, you can buy them. You can bring your own bag to the grocery store and pick up your items, or Walmart, or wherever you shop. Aldi, you're going to have to bring your own, just saying. But I don't want to be forced to follow your lead because you think it's good for a sea turtle. They show the same picture of the same sea turtle all the time. I'm like, if it only happened to like 5 turtles, we're going to punish the entire country?
Well, and look, and here's the real secret. So much of what they're doing is driven by, not just left-wing activists, but it's serving the interests of places like China, right? Who wins when we can't make guns, when we can't make cars that we want to make? The Chinese. And who's doing all the plastic pollution in the ocean? It's China, right? Like, we're not chucking stuff in the ocean. You're not chucking stuff in the ocean. I'm not chucking stuff in the ocean. The Chinese are chucking stuff in the ocean. So you're exactly right. If my sister-in-law wants to live like a wackadoo in San Francisco, in Marin, California, and live in a tiny house and not have air conditioning, I fully support her. I fully support her, right? But you and I don't want her to enforce her lifestyle on Missouri, right? Or on Indiana, where I grew up, right? Like, we don't want that, and we shouldn't have to deal with that, much less because of a lawsuit.
Cold, dead hands. You're not taking my guns. Cold, dead hands, baby. And you're going to have to fight me to get them. Not physically either. So, this kind of crap is going on everywhere. So every state has somebody who's doing it. Poor Minnesota has a governor and a mayor in Minneapolis who's doing it. But there is common sense across much of the land. So we want to point out that this is not an epidemic. It is systemic, but it's not an epidemic.
Right. And it's really important to understand that we are ahead of the curve. Polls show that like 90% of people in the country, 80% of people in the country don't want policies made by the courtroom. They don't want ideology pushed in the courtroom. And it's not an epidemic yet. So the most important thing is understand that we've got to take every step we can, whether that's in the legislature, in your state governor's office, or just in your local community, to make sure that everybody knows that we're not going to stand by and let woke lawfare become an epidemic.
Right.
If we can just stay ahead of this, we can keep life the way it is, right? We have a president who supports that. We can support that, and everything will be good. So we need to see more states and more people aware that this is the left's new game, because it's the only game they have in town. And so we need to make sure that they can't use it and abuse it in the next 3 years.
All right. So Missouri State Rep Ben Keithley is somebody you mentioned in the release that I got. Legislation is going to stop proliferation of woke lawfare here in Missouri. So we're way ahead of the curve.
Exactly. Missouri's got laws in the works now to stop lawsuits when somebody gets hurt when they're robbing your house or your business. Mm-hmm. They've got a lawsuit that basically says you can't use public nuisance against lawful regulated products. So you can't use it against guns. You can't use it against trucks. This is the kind of legislation that, is the kind of thing that's going to prevent woke lawfare. And it's important for conservative states to have bills like this, because if we can get public nuisance under control, if we can stop them from profiting off of crime, it's going to be like cutting one of their legs right out from under them with a little sweep kick, right? That's how we're going to stop them from getting the hold of the rest of our society.
Every time you talk about this, what pops into my head is the Jim Carrey movie Liar, Liar, where his secretary says, a criminal fell through the glass ceiling and sued her for $3 million. He goes, I would have got him 10. You know what I mean?
Right.
I keep thinking of that scene when I hear of stuff like this. It was in a comedy movie because it's that ludicrous.
Yes, but the left wants to do it, and we need to stop it. And we need to protect your guns and your Super Duty truck and the rest of the things, You've heard me say this before. If there's something you're doing that doesn't match a California lifestyle, they've got a lawsuit for that. And our answer needs to be, no, you don't.
Yeah.
Right? We need to take those things away.
Yeah, and we need to for California as well. I hope they get their secession government pushed through at some point. They've been talking about it for 10 years. They're ready to go. They just got to get it done so that Republicans have somewhere to live on the coast and not have to leave California.
That would be nicer, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That would be nicer.
I know a lot of people would move immediately to get away from guys like Gavin Newsom. But, when we look at some of the laws that are intact across the nation for states like Kentucky, which is our neighbor, which makes me sad for them. Illinois, my gosh, the People's Republic of Illinois is wrought with people like, I'm not even going to name names because I don't want to give them any free time, but they're running for office to say that they'll continue to fight Trump and make laws to regulate how you live your life, which is very socialist of them.
Yes, and we need to make sure that states like Missouri, this is why it's exciting to see this legislation, why states like Missouri can protect themselves, because when the lefties get everything they want in Illinois, they're going to turn and try to use the courtroom to make Missouri like Illinois, right? And we both know nobody in Missouri wants to be like Illinois.
No.
Right? And so
and if
that's
they do,
the
they
key.
can just move there. They just have to cross the bridge. Bye!
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we got to protect your state, right? We got to protect as many states as we can.
Yep, and we'll do it. Alliance for Consumers, where do they go, sir?
Yes, go to allianceforconsumers.org, or you can Google Alliance for Consumers Action Fund and see a bunch of great stuff. So thanks a lot, Fawn. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. O.H. Skinner, Executive Director. Take care, buddy. Bye. Yeah, our state has taken action to stop woke lawfare. I don't want somebody to criminally profit off of me because my dog ate their hand when they tried to come in the house, which would most likely happen. I don't want them to be able to solicit something, come to my door and cut their finger on the glass when they hit it too hard and they break it, and then they want to sue me because they cut themselves. I don't want my homeowner's insurance to go sky high because they tried to do something horrible to me or my family. Now, every state needs this law, and I'm pretty proud of Keithley for bringing it forth.